Welcome to BusinessLine Cerebration 2022. This is one of India's premier corporate quiz championships. We've brought richly participated, fabulously organized, and thoroughly enjoyable 18 seasons to you. At the end of today, we'll reach the midpoint of its 19th edition. And for the very first time, it is being organized in a hybrid format. The prelims and the regional finals both take place virtually, and for the winners of the regionals in the national final will take place in Mumbai. And I, Ajay Punya, am deeply excited to be hosting all these quizzes for you. So, what is BusinessLine Cerebration 22 all about? The story goes, once upon a time, for 10 days last month, the preliminary round took place online. Over 6,000 corporate executives, business professionals, B-school students, and MBA aspirants participated from all over India. The top 6 performers from each of the 6 regions were then brought together in a virtual regional final. From the regional final, the winner goes to Mumbai for the national final. We've had 2 thrilling regional finals already, with 2 new winners arising from them. And just like today's winner, they've given themselves a strong chance to win the most coveted intellectual title and to win prizes worth rupees 1.5 lakhs. The champion takes rupees 75,000, first runner-up gets rupees 50,000, and second runner-up prize wins rupees 25,000. That is a lot to play for. And today we are playing with the regional finalists, the city of pearls, the city of Nizams, the capital of Telangana, Hyderabad. We have an interesting mix of competitors today. 3 of them were in the regional final last year as well. So let's start the competition by introducing our competitors. Missing out on the final question last year and would perhaps want to make amends. He's back for it, is Naveen Kumar from Sai Mitra Constructions. When Naveen missed, he hit, and as a result, he made it through to the national final last year, where unfortunately for him, the final limped endlessly to a meandering conclusion that I shouldn't remind him with even one more word, so I'll stop. Defending champion from Hyderabad is back, is Kapinjal Chaudhary from TCS. Following him is our first of 2 college represents, is Sanidhi Singh Raghuvanshi from IIM Ranchi. Our next participant was in the regional final last year as well, but he'd prefer the lesser we speak about, the better, as participant 4 is Surya Prakash from Indian Bank. Following him is Shruti Menon from SAIL Bhilai. And for our second college represent, completing the lineup is Adarsh Mohapatra from AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Welcome all of you. That's the 6 who will be the hopes of Hyderabad going into the national final in Mumbai, but we won't get too ahead of ourselves. We'll play in the present. Some of you, for reasons highlighted, may want to undo the past, but you can't. So what you can do, however, is face what's ahead. And ahead lies 4 rounds of quizzing. But before that, let's hear from Mr. Raghuveer Srinivasan, editor, BusinessLine, who would like to take us through the journey of this competition. Sir, please.
Hello, everyone. BusinessLine is back with the 19th edition of Cerebration Quiz, one of India's biggest corporate quiz championships. After the overwhelming response we got last year, this year has been even better. And we got excellent entries across our major cities. BusinessLine, as you know, is India's leading financial newspaper. It's known for its depth and its intellectual sharpness, which is reflected in the Cerebration Quiz. The Cerebration quiz is open to business professionals, corporate executives, MBA aspirants, and students from India's top-notch B schools. The prelims received an all-wing response of more than 6,000 participants taking the quiz, and out of which 6 individuals from each city of Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kochi, Mumbai, and New Delhi will now battle it out to qualify for the grand finale. The top 6 contestants from each city will compete in the virtual regional finals from July 31 to August 15th. Winners of the regional finals from 6 cities will battle it out for the coveted title at an in-person, on-ground event in Mumbai. The winners will take home handsome prize money worth up to 1.5 lakhs. And apart from, of course, the recognition of being Cerebration winners of the BusinessLine quiz. I wish you all the very best and look forward to seeing the participants in the rounds that happens in the cities. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. A moment of earnest gratitude for our partners who made the BusinessLine Cerebration 2022 possible. The title sponsor, Union Bank of India. It's powered by Manage Engine. The writing instruments partner, Parker Pen by Luxor Group, and associate sponsor, Rayon. Thank you to each one of you. And now I would request Mr. Suresh Chandra Teli, Field General Manager, Hyderabad Zone, Union Bank of India, to take the stage and address our participants.
Good afternoon, everyone. Union Bank of India is proud to be associated with Hindu BusinessLine in sponsoring the quiz event. Union Bank is one of the topmost 5 banks, public sector banks of the country, and we are proud to be associated with this quiz competition, because such type of quiz competition we may come to know what is happening all around the world, and for student it is the best activity that we are participating, and we are enriching our knowledge. Union Bank, as you know, that we are one of the best in technology, and my request to all of you that you should avail the services of Union Bank of India. My best wishes to all the participants in this quiz event as well as in all spheres of life. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, then finalists, give us a good competition. Let's see the class of Hyderabad. Let's do it. Let's focus, roll up your sleeves and get to it. We'll start now with our first round. There are going to be 4 rounds in all. I'll explain to you the rules of every round as and when we get there. Round 1 is called serious or joking. I'm going to be giving you 5 statements on the buzzer. If you're all ready, we shall start with our first of 5 statements. Remember, you have 10 seconds and the timer begins after I'm done reading the question. Let's start. First statement in Hyderabad Regional Final on your screen now. Said to be the world's biggest coin ever minted, after 35 years, the Indian government has renewed its search for a 12 kg gold coin minted by Jahangir. In the 80s, it was known to be listed in an auction in Geneva by its owner, the Maharaja of Mysore. Remember, only hit the buzzer if you think it's a joke. Otherwise, you don't have to hit the buzzer. And the time is up. We have 6, 1, 3, and 2 on the buzzer. So 6 is Adarsh. Adarsh, why did you press the buzzer?
I think it might be the Nizam of Hyderabad instead of...
You think it might be the Nizam of Hyderabad in place of?
Maharaja of Mysore.
All right, let's take a look at the answer. That is indeed correct. It was indeed Mukarram Jah, the Nizam of Hyderabad, not the Maharaja of Mysore. Whether or not Adarsh knew it by itself, but I'm guessing he did pick on the fact that I wouldn't be asking a Mysore question in a Hyderabad regional round to begin with, which is well done. So well done to all 4 of you. Adarsh, Naveen, Sanidhi, and Kapinjal, all 4 of you secure 6 points. But Adarsh, on top of those 6 points, because you gave me a correct reason, you get a +5. So that's 11 for Adarsh. Naveen, Sanidhi, and Kapinjal, all three of you get 6 points apiece. That's very well done. A good start by all 4 of you. We'll move on to our second statement. Here's number 2. In computer networking, the error code 451 tells visitors they can't see the requested content due to legal obstacles, which usually means government censorship. Serious or joking? Only press the buzzer if you think I'm joking, otherwise do not buzz. 3 seconds remaining. Nobody who's hit the buzzer, your time is up. Nobody's on the buzzer, which means I think all of you think that the given statement is serious. Let's take a look at the answer. You are all right about that. So as it says, error 451 unavailable for legal reasons. Very well identified there. There was also a very well-known film called Fahrenheit 451, which in a sense touches upon the similar topic. Right, this question was powered by our sponsor, Manage Engine, and I'm guessing they'll be really glad to see that everybody got this one right. But what that also means is because everybody got it right, I will not be inflating scores arbitrarily. So we'll let it be. Nobody secures any points, but nobody loses any points either. So well done, everyone. You can pat yourselves on the back. Well done on getting this one correct. However, no points. We'll move on now to number 3. Back in 2011, British nature photographer David Slater was involved in a set of copyright disputes about these selfies. Slater argued that he held the copyright since he created the situation that led to the monkey selfie that you see here in the visuals, while WWF argued on behalf of the macaque and said that the monkey should be assigned the copyright. There's no negative in this round, please remember. So either way, whether you think it's serious or joking, doesn't matter. All right, so there's two of you press the buzzer. That's 4 Surya Prakash and 6 Adarsh. I'll have to ask Surya, why did you press the buzzer?
No,
Surya, what's your reason?
I don't know the exact reason, but I don't think it's.
You don't know the reason? All right, that's all right. We'll move on to Adarsh. Adarsh, what was your reason?
I guess it was PETA, not WWF.
PETA arguing on behalf of the macaque and not WWF. Let's take a look at the answer. That answer is indeed correct. It was indeed PETA arguing on behalf of the monkey that he should be getting the copyright and not the photographer in question. But it wasn't WWF. So that's well done, Adarsh. Only 2 of you pressing the buzzer on this one, thinking that this was a joke. That's Surya and Adarsh. Well done. Both of you get 8 points, and Adarsh on top of those 8 points, you also get a +5. So that's 13 for you. All right, let's move on. Here's number 4. He is Syed Wajid Ali, a Pakistani industrialist and president of Pakistan Olympics Association till 2004. He was the inspiration for the mascot of Air India's Maharaja. Serious or joking? Right, the time is up, and as it turns out, nobody's hit the buzzer, which means everybody thinks that, you know, this statement was serious. Let's take a look. That is indeed correct. So that's well done, all of you. Very good. Well done on not pressing the buzzer. Again, you can pat yourselves on the back. Everybody thought that this was correct. So no points to anyone. You either give points to everyone or you give points to no one. And since I'm not feeling that lenient today, so I'm not giving points to anyone on this one. Okay, final one now. Final statement for round 1. The World Bank's first ever loan was of $250 million to Germany after the Second World War for the modernization and re-equipment plan, or the Monnet plan, after their planning commissioner, Jean Monnet. 3 seconds remain. That's it. Your time's up. So it's 2, 3, 6, and 5 that's on the buzzer. So first on the buzzer is Kapinjal. Kapinjal, why did you press the buzzer?
Yeah, so I think it's not the Monet plant. Basically, it was named after someone else, not exactly Monet plant.
It was not a Monet plan, but named after someone else. Do you want to take a name?
Uh, I can't really think of anyone now. So, no.
Okay, so I'll move on to Sanidhi. Sanidhi, what was your reason?
Yeah, I also think that rest of the part is correct except the Monet plan, because Monet is certainly not associated with this particular, but I can't really recall the other
Okay, so
person.
I'll move on. I'll move on to Adarsh.
I'll guess it was France instead of Germany.
You think it was France instead of Germany, and you're okay with the Monet plan? Because Sanidhi and Kapinjal both were doubting that one, but you're picking something else. You're saying France instead of Germany. That was the three explanations or reasons that I was looking for. Let's take a look at the answer. Well done on that, Adarsh. It wasn't Germany. It was indeed Jean Monnet, who was the planning commissioner for France and not Germany. Germany had to undergo reparations post the First World War, right? Not the Second World War. Second World War was something different. And the first to get a loan from the World Bank was France for their modernization plan that I spoke of. Well done to Kapinjal, Sanidhi, Adarsh, and Shruti. 4 of you getting this one correct. So that's 6 points to each one of you. And Adarsh, on top of those 6 points, you get a bonus 5. So that's 11 for you. Kapinjal, Sanidhi, and Shruti getting 6 points each. This question was brought to you by our title sponsor, Union Bank of India, and I'm certain they'll be mighty pleased to see so many of you accumulating points on that one. Well, that's the end of round one. The firing of the first salvo for all of you. It was a good round to mark yourselves high enough on the scoreboard. There has been a fair bit of piling up of points, as we shall see on the scoreboard, but that's on the other side of this break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to BusinessLine Cerebration Corporate Quiz 2022 here at Hyderabad. We're through with round one, and at this point, we will take a look at the scores. Our participant one, Naveen, is currently at 6. Kapinjal from TCS is currently at 12 and in joint second place alongside Sanidhi from IIM Ranchi, who's also at 12. Then is Surya Prakash at 8, Shruti at 6, and currently leading with a significant margin there is Adarsh Mohapatra from AIIMS Bhubaneswar at 35. Right, so that's a strong early advantage there for Adarsh, but we're still early days. We still have 3 more rounds to go. We will pick action with our second round. This round is called paired impaired. First question will be a direct to Adarsh. Adarsh, please unmute. And Kapinjal, you're paired with him. So both of you can unmute yourselves and put your phones down because you don't have to be hitting the buzzer. The other 4 participants, however, are on the buzzer. Here's my question to Adarsh. My question for you is, as per this government initiative on the left, that gives ratings to products in line with its global and European counterparts, its stated objectives is to bring down adverse consequences by half by 2025. The 10th of its kind in the world. What is this initiative that will be rolled out on 1st of April, 2023? So on the buzzer for others, Adarsh, 5 seconds. What's your answer? Are you giving any?
No, I'll pass.
Passing. Kapinjal, do you have an answer of your own for plus 10,
Yes.
minus 5?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm going to answer this. So basically, this is the Indian version of the NCAP. The NCAP basically they give ratings for automobile vehicles. Like for example, a Tata Nexon is the most safety vehicle. So they give the safety rating to the vehicle. So India has planned to come up with its own such rating, such body for itself. So India will roll out its own version of that NCAP test, which is basically done by Europe or some other countries, right?
All right. There was nobody else on the buzzer. Let's take a look at the answer. Well done, Kapinjal. That is indeed correct. Absolutely. So this is the Bharat NCAP, or the new car assessment program. The other logos that I gave were of the global NCAP and the Euro NCAP, and Kapinjal from the Tata Group also promoting some Tata cars there in his essayist answer that he gave. But that was correct. Absolutely. That's well done, Kapinjal. That's 10 points to you. Very good. Right. Next up is Kapinjal. Kapinjal, now you're the direct participant. And Adarsh, please listen to Kapinjal's answer and then accept, reject, or pass. All right, Kapinjal, you have an option of passing also. You don't have to give me an answer. Okay. However, the others on the buzzer, you're not supposed to pass. So please be very careful before you decide to hit the buzzer. So good answer there. Kapinjal gets you a 10, and now a follow-up question for you. At the start of the last season, Formula One introduced a budget cap of $145 million per team to be adjusted as per the number of races. The cap was shrunk by 3.5% for this year and was set to fall by another 3.5% next year. But instead, last month, they decided to allow for a 3% increase this year and next to account for what factor? Five seconds, Kapinjal. Okay, no answer, Kapinjal. I'll pass the question to Adarsh. Plus 10, minus 5.
I'll take a guess. I'll say rising fuel prices.
You'll take a guess and you'll say?
Rising fuel prices.
Rising fuel prices. That is indeed correct. Absolutely. That's well done. Good answer there. It is indeed to account for inflation that has caused serious disruption in freight and raw materials. So good answer there, Adarsh. So very interestingly, Adarsh's question answered by Kapinjal, Kapinjal's question answered by Adarsh. So that's 10 points to both of you on each other's question. That's very good. Next up will be the second pair of Sanidhi and Surya Prakash. Sanidhi, you'll go first. You're the direct participant. And Surya Prakash, please listen to Sanidhi's answer and decide what you want to do. I request the both of you to please unmute and please keep your hands visible on screen for us. All right. Here's my question, Sanidhi. Others on the buzzer. In his address in Man Ki Baat in August 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had given a clarion call on rebranding the Indian blank story. Said to be a feather in the Make in India initiative, its imports came down by 70% and exports went up by 61% in the last 3 years. Which industry that saw a fair being organized and the preparation of a national action plan last year? Surya, I'll have to request you to unmute. Sanidhi, your answer, if any.
Yeah, I think it is the Khadi.
Your answer is Khadi. I'll pass it to Surya. Accept, reject, pass.
I'll accept.
You will accept it. The answer was Khadi. I'm afraid that is incorrect. Minus 5 Sanidhi, minus 5 Surya. Question passes on the buzzer to Kapinjal.
Yeah, so this is the Indian toy industry, toys.
Indian toy industry.
Yeah, so, basically toy. So they want to revive the toys, export. So basically, Mr. Narendra Modi was speaking about the Indian toy industry, basically.
The Indian toy industry. All right. He said like toy 5 times in his 7-word answer. All right. So Mr. Modi said, rebranding the Indian toy story, a play of words there by the Prime Minister himself is absolutely correct. Kapinjal, that's well done. Not the Khadi story, but the toy story. That's a very good answer. Kapinjal gets you a plus 5. But unfortunately, Sanidhi and Surya, both of you agreeing with each other and agreeing on a wrong answer. So minus 5 to both of you. Surya, here's my question for you. Others on the buzzer. Which company gets its name from as a portmanteau of this lady's name who's encircled in the picture and a petroleum jelly that her brother Tom used to create their first product, Lash Brow Eel. The idea came to Tom when he saw his sister use a concoction of coal dust and petroleum jelly after a mishap. Surya. You don't have to answer. There's a negative attached to a wrong answer. No answer, Surya. Okay. Question goes to Sanidhi. Do you have an answer of your own?
Yeah, I can't really recall. I'll pass.
So you'll pass. Okay. I will move on to our first participant on the buzzer, and that's Adarsh. Adarsh?
Maybelline.
How do you arrive at that? The portmanteau?
Her name was Mabel and Vaseline is the part.
Her name was Mabel, and from Vaseline you get the latter half of the word. That is indeed correct. Absolutely. That's well done, Adarsh. That's a +5 to you. So it was Mabel, the lady in question. Mabel burned a cork, mixed the ashes with some Vaseline, and then applied to what was, left of her lashes. And, her brother Tom saw that, and realized that she looked like a Hollywood starlet. And in a sense, that was a eureka moment for Tom. Tom, whose full name is actually Thomas Lyle Williams, is the founder of Maybelline. That is indeed correct. So that's a +5 to Adarsh. And this question was brought to you by our associate sponsor, Rayon. All right, so nothing to Sanidhi and Surya, but a +5 to Adarsh. And then we move on to our final pairing. That's Naveen and Shruti. So we'll play with Naveen first. Naveen and Shruti, please unmute yourselves. Okay, Naveen, here's my question, others on the buzzer. Said to be a vivid symbol of colonialism in Africa by outsiders and even voluntary servitude by Africans, what currency circulates in 8 countries in West Africa and 6 countries in Central Africa without its founding principles having been altered? Naveen, 5 seconds.
Okay, my guess is franc.
Okay, your answer is franc. Question passes to Shruti Menon. Do you accept, reject, pass?
I think I'll reject.
I
think, yeah,
okay.
I can
answer. Are you giving me an answer of your own, Shruti?
Yeah, I'll like to try.
Sure.
I think this is like a form of like barter system, like they trade in camels or something. Goods.
The barter system or trading of camels. All right.
Mm.
There is nobody on the buzzer, so it was only Naveen who gave an answer, and then Shruti rejected it and corrected it to something else. That's what she'd like to believe. But unfortunately for Shruti, it is indeed the franc, or specifically the CFA franc. Right? That's the answer that I was looking for. That's well done, Naveen. It is indeed the franc. So as the question says, symbol of colonialism in Africa, because they don't really have the control of printing the money. It's France that prints and trickles down perhaps to them, but sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But they don't really have a say in how much of money needs to be, how much of franc that needs to be created. Right. So that's the answer. That's well done, Naveen. Gets you 10. Shruti, unfortunately for you, you thought that the answer Naveen gave was incorrect, and you thought that you were correcting it, but unfortunately you rejected a right answer. And after that, whatever you said becomes irrelevant because I give you a straight up -5 for that. So that's a -5, Shruti. Put a +10 to Naveen. And Shruti, on top of that, to help you perhaps get a few points, because I gave you a negative, I'll give you a direct question now. Okay. And Naveen, you have to listen to her answer and then accordingly decide what you want. Others on the buzzer, Shruti, here is my question. Brothers Chang and Eng were born in the Rattanakosin Kingdom in 1811. While in their teens, they were discovered by a British merchant. Upon termination of their contract with him, they successfully went into business for themselves and traveled with P.T. Barnum's circus for many years. What were they called, which has since become a generic term?
Okay, I would like to say it is Siamese twins.
Okay, Naveen, accept, reject, pass.
Accept.
Your answer is Siamese twins, says Shruti, and Naveen decides to accept it. The answer that I was looking for is indeed Siamese twins. I unconjoined them. The conjoined twins are also called as Siamese twins after these brothers. In the original image, I unconjoined them, but that clearly did not act as a deterrent for Shruti and Naveen. So that's well done, Shruti. Gets you a 10 as a result, and Naveen, well done for accepting that answer, gets you a 5. So very good. Good all-round question for both of you there. 10 to Shruti, 5 to Naveen. And that brings us to the end of round number 2, halfway into the quiz. We won't take a look at the scores right now. We will continue and move on to round number 3. This round is called Challengers Day. There's going to be one question for every participant. First question will be for Naveen, second one for Kapinjal, third for Sanidhi, and so on. All right, so let's start. First question for Naveen. Naveen, if you can unmute. Here's my question for you. Others on the buzzer. Celebrating a century of change this year, this is the first ever cover of which magazine? As part of its centenary celebrations, every month they're unlocking one of their favorite articles from the magazine. Last month, it was a 2004 article written by 2 INSEAD professors about how new markets can be created through a systematic process that any company can follow. What is this strategy called? That's the 2-part question. First ever cover of which magazine, and last month, which is July, what was the article that they unlocked? They're unlocking one every month. There's nobody on the challenge. So Naveen, feel free to give me an answer without the fear of negatives. 10 points if you're correct, no negatives if you're wrong.
Okay, my guess is Harvard Business Review and Blue Ocean Strategy.
Your guess is Harvard Business Review as the magazine, and the article or the process in question being the Blue Ocean Strategy. That is absolutely perfect there, Naveen. It's a good answer. It is indeed Harvard Business Review, founded in October 1922, celebrating its centenary this year. And of course, in 2004, we had Chan Kim and Morborn from INSEAD writing the Blue Ocean Strategy article, which eventually became a book and expanded it there. That's a good answer, Naveen. That's a plus 10 to you. And this question was brought to you by our Writing Instruments partner, Parker Pen by Luxor Group. Well done, Naveen. 10 points to you. Next question will be for Kapinjal. Kapinjal, here is my question for you. Others on the buzzer. Tom Judd is a British artist who's known to work in different mediums. He started with the bizarre idea of drawing a piece of art every day. This idea became an inspiration for another artist who pursued this practice for 15 plus years. And the latter, however, made major news last year. My question is, who was the latter artist and why? Why did he make major news last year? He was inspired by Tom Judd, pursuing a practice for 15 plus years. It's nobody on the challenge. So Kapinjal, you can give me an answer. No negatives.
Okay. Okay, so I believe the other person would be the guy actually who makes the portraits of Nobel Prize winners. They basically have a portrait made, right? Like you see the portrait version of a different kind of art. So I believe that guy was the person who got inspired from.
All right, I understood what you're talking about, but do you have a name?
Is the Nikolai something, Nicholas or something? I don't know.
There's nobody on the buzzer. The answer that I was looking for, Kapinjal, that is incorrect. Not the person who creates the portraits of Nobel Prize winners, but indeed is Every Day is the First 5,000 Days by Beeple. Beeple was the one that I was looking for, who sold the most expensive NFT last year, somewhere upwards of $60 million. So it was Beeple who created, every day he would create an artwork. So it was first 5,000 days of his artwork was sold as an NFT last year, which made him $60+ million. And he was inspired by Tom Judd, the British artist. And I've given you like a brief conversation that they had on Twitter as well, acknowledging that inspiration. No points to anyone there. Nobody getting it correct. I'll move on to the next one. That's Sanidhi. Sanidhi, your direct question. Others on the buzzer. While they were impressed with him on a Doordarshan show, they felt the introduction of his character in their brand's ad would be kya bakwas or what nonsense. However, with repeated iterations, they were finally able to identify a takiya kalam or a catchphrase with odd laughter to go with it. So successful was the ad that the brand decided to use the character on the packaging too. My question is, which character and which brand's ad is being described here? You have a challenge coming from Naveen. Sanidhi, what do you want to do?
I'll answer myself.
All right. Your answer for +10 -5 is?
Yes, I'm guessing this is the Gattu, the character for the Asian Paints ad.
Gattu for Asian Paints. That is incorrect. That's a -5, Sanidhi. Question passes to Naveen for +10 -5.
Okay, my guess is Lijjat Papad and the Kurram Karram, that the rabbit.
Is perfect. That's the answer. This is Lijjat Papad and the rabbit, the character, and of course, as he said, Kurram Kurram also. Naveen, do you want to give us that awkward laughter in that ad?
No, I can't.
All right, that's all right. That's a +10 there to Naveen, a -5 to Sanidhi. Right, -5 Sanidhi, +10 Naveen. Next question will be a direct to Surya. Surya, if you're ready.
Ready.
Here's my question. Which Fed chair, whose policies led to a significant increase in the assets of the Fed's balance sheets, wrote his inaugural blog for Brookings in 2015? That's one part. Second part, an excerpt from that inaugural blog. When I was at the Fed, I occasionally observed that blank is 98% talk and 2% action. The ability to shape market expectations through public sentiments is one of the most powerful tools the Fed has. What approach, which is either contractionary or expansionary, fills in the blanks? So two-part question, which Fed chair and what are the blanks? Two-word blanks. 98% talk, 2% action. Right, nobody's on the challenge. Surya, what's your answer? No negatives. Still open on the buzzer.
Dollar index is what?
Okay, and who's the Fed chair?
Yeah, Fed chair, I'm not sure.
You'll have to give me a complete answer, otherwise I can't be giving you points. That's either way, dollar index was incorrect. There's nobody on the buzzer either. The answer that I was looking for was Ben Bernanke, and who was leading the Fed during the 2008 financial crisis. And 98% talk and 2% action, in Bernanke's own words, is essentially what is monetary policy. That the central banks basically, that's their job, right? It's 98% talk, just maintaining market sentiments. That's essentially their job. So it's 98% talk and 2% action. No points there to anyone. And in fact, it was Alan Greenspan, when he was leading the Fed, he said that central bankers must learn to mumble with great incoherence, adding some weightage to 98% talk and 2% action. Well, no points to anyone, but this question was brought to you by our title sponsor, Union Bank of India. We will now move on to our next question. That's number 5 for Shruti. Shruti, if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, here's my question for you. While this tradition started in 1936, it was only in 1956 that it became an annual affair, thanks to a marketing executive who saw an opportunity. The job title of the person responsible to present it to the one who executes the tradition is called a veteran blank person. And in May this year, it was this person who you see in the visual. Before the event, the prospects take a poll about their preference, whole, 2% or fat-free. My question is, what tradition, what event? You have a challenge coming from Adarsh. Shruti, what do you want to do?
I'll let him answer.
All right, Adarsh, what's your answer? +10 -5. You're muted.
I'll say the Indianapolis 500 and drinking milk on the podium.
Indianapolis 500 and drinking milk on the podium is absolutely brilliant there from Adarsh. Very good answer. This is the winner, drinking milk at Indy 500. And, in fact, before the race, they asked all the drivers, what should you happen to win? What kind of milk would you like? So it's either whole, 2%, fat-free, etc. This person who was the veteran milk person at this year's Indy 500. That's a brilliant answer there. Adarsh on the challenge gets you a +10. Very good. Now for the final one, Adarsh, this is for you. So you had a 10 on the last one. You can score a full 10 on this one as well. Here's my question for you, Adarsh. Others on the buzzer. This genre of speculative writing may not have existed without this person who you see in the pictures. He coined a two-word term as the editor and publisher of Amazing Stories, the first magazine devoted to the burgeoning genre. The World Blank Blank Society presents the annual awards named after him since 1953. My question is, what term, fill in the blanks, and what awards named after him? Do not give me an answer right now, Adarsh, if you know it. Just wait for 5 seconds. Let others present a challenge. All right, now Adarsh, you can give me an answer. No negatives.
Sci-Fi and Hugo Awards.
Sci-Fi and Hugo Awards. Do you know who he is?
I don't know the name. Okay.
You don't know the name. All right. The answer is indeed science fiction and Hugo Awards. He is Hugo Gernsback, right? After who originally coined the term science fiction, and we have the World Science Fiction Society presenting the annual Hugo Awards named after him for over 70-ish years now, right? That's well done, Adarsh. Back-to-back 10-pointers for you. And this question was brought to you by our sponsor, programs powered by Manage Engine. So that brings us to the end of the penultimate round as well. Finally, towards the end, something for all of you to cheer. We had answers coming from all across the table. And I'm sure you can see that change reflecting in their facial expressions as well. And you will see that reflecting on the scoreboard too. But that's on the other side of this break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Welcome back to taking a look at the scoreboard heading into the final round. As you can see, we still have Adarsh Mohapatra from AIIMS Bhubaneswar, who's still leading with a score of 70, thanks to those back-to-back answers in the last two questions. Closely following him, he was really far behind when we saw the scores after the end of round one, but clawing his way back into this quiz is Naveen Kumar from Sai Mitra Constructions, currently second at 41. Then is Kapinjal Chaudhary from TCS at 27, defending champion from Hyderabad last year. And then is Shruti Menon currently at 11. Sanidhi from IIM Ranchi at 2, and Surya Prakash from Indian Bank at 3. So those are the scores, 70, 41, 27, heading into our final round. This is the make or break round. It's called a shooter. It's going to be 6 questions that I will be asking, all of them on the buzzer. There's no direct questions anymore. All right, good luck everyone. 6 questions coming. First 2 questions for 4 points apiece. Number 1. What 5-letter word connects? On the buzzer is Naveen from Sai Mitra. Yes, Naveen.
Okay, why 5? Okay, Sion, S-E-I-O-N.
How would you connect it?
The logo is of the Sion Motors is what I recall. No idea who they are. Can't even see them. Okay, Amish Tripathi, I guess. The last one. Okay, my guess is Sion, S-E-I-O-N.
All right. Why would you? How would you fit in Amish Tripathi in that answer?
I have no idea. I just saw the logo and I answered.
You saw the logo and you answered. All right. The answer that I was looking for is indeed what you said. This is Sion, the Scion of Ikshvaku, book written by Amish Tripathi. It's a brand by Toyota and the asset management firm by Michael Burry, who was, like the inspiration for the lead in The Big Short. Right. So it is indeed 4 points there to Naveen on the buzzer. That's very good. Still trying to track down Adarsh, who's leading by a fair margin. So Naveen needs to give a lot more answers, and even others if you want to track down Adarsh. We'll move on to our next one. 4 points to Naveen. Question number 2, also for 4 points. my question. The blank hour contract in the United Kingdom refers to a type of contract between an employer and an employee whereby the employer is not obliged to provide any minimum number of working hours to the employee, but the employer cannot stop a blank hour worker from getting work elsewhere. Please fill in the blank for me. On the buzzer is Naveen again.
Okay, well, my guess is 0-hour contract. That's the only contract I know.
It's the only contract that you know. 0-hour contract is indeed correct. That's the answer. That's well done. Back-to-back answers. Another 4-pointer coming Naveen's way. The chase is still on. There's 4 more questions to go. Here's my next question, number 3 for 7 points and -5 for incorrect answer. American statesman and former president John Adams, his quote, "There are 2 ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword and the other is by blank." Please fill in the blank with an economic tool that over the last decade. All right, we have Naveen again on the buzzer.
Okay, my guess is debt.
So there's 2 ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword and the other, Naveen thinks, is by debt. I'll complete my question. Fill in the blank with an economic tool that over the last decades being aggressively employed by an Asian country to advance its strategic interests is indeed correct. It is indeed debt, and that gets you a 7-pointer this time, Naveen. That's very well done. 3 consecutive answers. You know, when you're really behind on the scoreboard, I mean, although I'm sure Naveen isn't really taking blind guesses, but by his own admission, he's only looking at one element. You know, in the first one, he said, I only know the logo. In the second one, he said, that's the only contract that I know. So he's really going for broke here. There's 3 more questions to go. The next one's also for 7 points. And after that, we'll start eliminating participants for whom it's mathematically impossible to be winning the Hyderabad regional round. Here's question number 4. In his 1957 book, Mythologies, French philosopher Roland Barthes wrote, "The hierarchy of substances is abolished. A single one replaces them all." What substance's freewheeling euphoria was he describing that has its industrial usage origin in billiard balls? What substance's freewheeling euphoria was he describing that has its industrial usage origin in billiard balls? Right, the time is up, and on the buzzer we have Naveen again. Yes, Naveen.
Okay, I have to, since I have to go, I'm just going with it. I'm going with the, what do you call the, I'm not getting the name, like the elephant trunk, the elephant tusk, what is it made of? Ivory. So I'm just guessing ivory.
Your answer is ivory. There's nobody else on the buzzer after you. The answer that I was looking for. You got 3 consecutive correct answers, but do you also get a 4th one? Unfortunately, no, Naveen. This is plastic. The first ever industrial usage of plastic was in billiard balls, interestingly. That was plastic is what I was looking for. And as the quote said, the hierarchy of substances is abolished. A single one replaces them all. Right? So plastic replacing everything. That's a -5 there, unfortunately, Naveen. All right, let's move on. Next up, it's literally a battle for the title at Hyderabad. 20 points available, 2 questions coming. It's Naveen versus Adarsh. Here's question number 5. As asset prices have tumbled this year, the world's richest billionaires have lost a combined 1.4 trillion dollars year to date in the first 6 months, with approximately $80 billion decline in wealth. As per Bloomberg Billionaires Index, who has been the biggest loser? With an approximate $80 billion decline in wealth. For 6 months, year to date. Right, it's Naveen who has to go for it, and he's gone for it. Naveen, what's your answer?
Warren Buffett.
I'm just guessing.
No, Surya, please don't answer. This is for Naveen.
Okay, I'm just guessing this is Elon Musk.
Naveen, did you see the picture carefully?
Yeah, I had to guess, right? Like he has many billions, or even 80 billion doesn't make.
Yeah, but I don't think you've seen the picture carefully. Elon Musk's already there.
Oh, is it? Okay, fine.
I'll have to give you a negative on that one. That's a -5, Naveen, unfortunately. That's not the answer, but does anybody want to take a guess? It's not for points anymore.
Yeah.
Surya said Warren Buffett. That was wrong also.
Occasion man?
Is it Bill Gates?
Not Bill Gates.
Mukesh Ambani.
Mukesh.
Not Mukesh Ambani. I would, for him at least, I'd consider reverse actually. All right. The answer is CZ, Changpeng Zhao of Binance. Right. Although he keeps declining it, but Bloomberg Billionaires Index says that he's been the biggest loser for the first 6 months this year. It's been in the news for various reasons associated with an Indian exchange as well. So this is CZ from Binance. That's a negative there to Naveen. And now to my final question. And the case is that we do know who the winner is from Hyderabad. So what we'll do is we'll keep it open for everyone. So everyone, welcome back to the quiz again. So please give it your best shot. Perhaps try to end on a high. Okay, so it's open for all 6 of you on the buzzer. Here is, did I get my math right? 45, 55. Yeah, all right. So it's impossible, Naveen, anymore. Okay, so all 6 of you on the buzzer. And here's my final question for the Hyderabad regional round. In 1861, this French chemist found that ferrogalate in gum is light sensitive. On the buzzer is Kapinjal already. Yes, Kapinjal.
Okay, so
I need an answer now. Kapinjal, 3 seconds.
yeah. So basically, here's a person.
Okay, that's a -5, Kapinjal. We'll move on to the next one on the buzzer, and that is Adarsh.
Yeah, this is Blueprint.
All right, my question. In 1861, this French chemist found that ferrogalate in gum is light sensitive. A coating of this chemical on paper or other base may be used to reproduce an image from a translucent document. My question is, which guide for making something is derived from this now obsolete technology? Adarsh, who's been leading most of this quiz, takes a guess on the final one, and he says Blueprint. The answer that I was looking for is indeed Blueprint. That is indeed correct. This was Alphonse Louis Pourvitin, and other known processes include ammonium ferric citrate and potassium ferricyanate associated on paper or cloth. That was indeed the answer, Adarsh. That's well done. A +10 to you, ending this quiz on a positive note. You really waited for others to have a go at it. In fact, not really others, but just one of the other participants who was your nearest challenger in this round. And finally, when I let everybody answer, you jumped in and said that, this is the answer that I was looking for. And that was indeed correct. So with that, we come to the end of the Hyderabad regional final. It was a tough day in office for a few of them, but the tussle for the top spot was spectacular to watch for us neutrals. We will take a break now, but on the other side lies the final scoreboard and our winner. Stay tuned. Welcome back after the break to the final scoreboard for you at the Hyderabad regional final. In 6th place is from IIM Ranchi, Sanidhi Singh Raghuvanshi with a score of 2 points. Unfortunately, today wasn't a day where he could shine with his presence, and neither could Surya Prakash from Indian Bank. He was here at the regional final last year. He's back again in the regional final this year, but unfortunately, both the years, he'll still look forward to winning the Hyderabad regional final, carrying it forward to next year, perhaps a mission for next year for him. And then in 4th place is Shruti Menon from Sale Bilai, gave some fine answers, but weren't really enough to win the title at Hyderabad. And then in 3rd place, our defending champion, unfortunately, not quite his day today, is Kapinjal Chaudhary from TCS with a score of 22. And in 2nd place, I introduced him as, one to make amends, and he almost made amends, but unfortunately, That's going to be an amendment that will last one more year for him, is Naveen Kumar from Sai Mitra Constructions, who finishes second with a score of 46. And our winner, and how, just look at the difference, the start, the stability, and the slog of our winner with 80 points from AIIMS Bhubaneswar is Adarsh Mahapatra. Congratulations, Adarsh. A job well done, a job that was well begun. And good show to the other 5 contestants as well. Very, very good show. In fact, just ran into a man on a mission today. Finally, a big thank you to all our sponsors. The title sponsor, Union Bank of India, is powered by Manage Engine, our writing instruments partner, Parker Pen by Luxor Group, and associate sponsor, Grey On. Well, that's a wrap from the team at BusinessLine Cerebration 2022. Until the next one, goodbye.